See what it is, y'all. You see where we at. It's going down, and it don't never stop. It's going down, and it don't never stop. Shout out to Ilyas Neal. Sean got the Problem Child Fitness joint on. We locked in. We down here. Send this video. Share this video. And send this video to Judge Subramanian. Judge Subramanian, this video is for you. Check Sean G out. It don't never stop. I need y'all to share this video. You can follow Sean G on the podcast with Soul on Instagram. The podcast Soul on Spotify. The podcast with Soul on TikTok. I'm all over the place. Make sure you follow me everywhere. Judge Subramanian, Cassie Ventura, with the help of her attorney, Doug Wigdor of Wigdor Law, who, when Puffy got when Puffy got acquitted on July the 2nd, 2025, and Mark Agnifilo asked you to release Puff, let Puff go home that day, being that he was acquitted. Who was that, Badger Wolf? Being that he was acquitted of the RICO and he got acquitted of the SCX trafficking, he asked you to let Puffy go home, that the jury had gave Puff his life back. You remember that? He told you that Puffy was not a flight risk, that he was in possession of Puffy's passports, his whole family's passports. He told you, Mark Agnifilo told you, that Puffy's plane was in Maui, Hawaii, and that he needed to be reunited with his family, that the jury had gave him his life back. That he would abide by any conditions that you set. He could only be in LA, Miami, or New York if he needed to meet with his attorneys. And Judge Subramanian, I saw you and I heard you. I heard you 1,000%. After Mark Agnifilo did that, after Mark Agnifilo did such a masterful closing argument that helped Puffy win his freedom, you then looked at Puffy and you said to Puffy, Judge Subramanian, you said, Mr. Combs, I'm sure you don't want to go back to MDC Brooklyn. MDC Brooklyn right over there. MDC Brooklyn right over there. Brooklyn. Brooklyn right there. Brooklyn is over there. Queens is over there. Harlem and the Bronx is up there. Jersey is over there. And Puffy looked back at you and he shook his head. He says, no, I don't want to go and you were gonna let him go home. Otherwise, why would you even ask him that? What would be the point? You then asked the prosecution, Maureen Comey, do you have anything to say before I make a decision to let Puffy go home today? Maureen Comey stood up and said that she was totally against Puffy being released, that he was convicted of some very serious crimes that carried a maximum sentence of 20 years and all this old other bullshit she said. She's since been fired. Not only did Maureen Comey lose at trial, she's been terminated. Then you got confused, Judge Subramanian, and it seemed to me, Judge Subramanian, that you were intimidated by Maureen Comey and maybe the position her father once held as the director of the FBI before he got terminated. And you said just a minute ago, you was asking Puff, I'm sure you don't want to go back to MDC Brooklyn. Now you jump up after Maureen Comey say what she say. You say, well, it's 11:45. That's what time it was. Yes, it was. It was about 11:45, 10 minutes to 11. You see, let's meet back here at 1 o'clock. Prosecution, you write me a letter. Mark Agnifilo, you write me a letter. And we'll meet back here at 1 o'clock and I'll give you my decision. Everybody broke out. Everybody left the courtroom. I came out here, did my thing. I went back. First, I went to the 8th floor to the cafeteria to get me a cup of coffee. That's where I went first. I went first to get me a cup of coffee. After I got my coffee, I went back upstairs to the 24th floor, to the overflow. To the overflow on the 24th floor. We came back in there. 1 o'clock came, you didn't show up. 2 o'clock came, we were sat in there for an hour waiting for you. You didn't show. The marshals came in and said, the judge said, ain't nothing happening till 5 o'clock. Everybody get out of the courtroom. The marshals, the U.S. Marshals kicked everybody out of the courtroom. 5 o'clock came. 5 o'clock came. You came back. You had a letter. What's up, man? You had a letter from Doug Wigdor, from Wigdor Law, who represented Cassie in her civil suit where she sued Puffy and received a settlement of $20 million. She was the first one. Doug Wigdor was the first one to write a letter making a case for Puffy not to be released. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Doug Wigdor of Wigdor Law, 85 Park Avenue, New York, New York. Cassie, everything has come out about Cassie now. Cassie was not forced. There was no coercion. There was no sex trafficking. There was no fraud, because Cassie, as the male escorts who have now going on various social media channels telling their story, have said that Cassie was a willing participant, that Cassie was the one who was paying them. Cassie was the one that was calling them. Hit that like button. Hit that like. Put me on 100 likes. Hurry up. That's what they're all saying. So her whole story is in the basement. And in the civil suit, Judge Subramanian, the civil suit filed in the Southern District of New York, on page 19, paragraph 102, Doug Wigdor, who engages in attorney misconduct, perjury in the civil suit, lying in the civil suit, attorney misconduct in the civil suit, page 19, paragraph 102. Then you could go over to page 20, and it talks about the Kid Cudi firebombing of his Porsche. Is another instance of Doug Wigdor practicing attorney misconduct, perjury, and lies in a federal court document. And he's an officer of the court. On page 19, Judge Subramanian, and you was there, you heard it. Doug Wigdor creates this balcony, this 17th floor balcony incident. Doug Wigdor signed his name to a federal complaint, filed it in federal court, affixed his signature and his attorney address as a formal complaint. Also on that complaint are two other lawyers that work for Doug Wigdor. Meredith Firetab, she commits perjury. Michael Willerman, he commits perjury. All three of them. Pull up the civil suit. There was no 17th floor balcony incident. That was a lie, Judge Subramanian. You heard it. Nicole Westmoreland destroyed Breonna Bogelin on the stand, Judge Subramanian. You saw it. Yes, you did. Nicole Westmoreland cross-examined Breonna Bogelin for 2 days. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. 2 days. It was 2 days. You know how I know? You know how I know? Because I was there. I was there. I was in the overflow. I was in the overflow. Nicole Westmoreland could have knocked Breonna Bogelin out the box the first day, but I think she just wanted to make Breonna Bogelin look even more stupid than she was looking while Nicole Westmoreland was cross-examining her. And Nicole Westmoreland, who's a super lawyer, who's an elite level lawyer, her cross-examinations were legendary. Legendary. Nicole Westmoreland asked Brianna, she said, Brianna, come on now. Don't you know that everything that you saying is not true? Why are you taking us through this? And all Brianna Boglin can say, oh, I can't remember. I can't remember. And then Nicole Westmoreland would say, well, let me refresh your memory and give her some documents about the 8 times, 11 times she met with federal prosecutors for witness preparation. And it came out that Brianna Boglin's story and Cassie's story, Judge Subramanian, Brianna Boglin's story and Cassie's story that Puffy hung Brianna Boglin over a 17th floor balcony in Los Angeles was a lie, because the nigga was in Macy's on 34th Street doing a signing. He was in Newark, New Jersey at the Bad Boy reunion tour. He was at the Trump International Hotel ordering room service. He was up in Harlem at the Boys and Girls Club, the Boys and Girls of Harlem benefit. Puffy was on the East Coast. He couldn't have been at Cassie's house on the West Coast. And yet, Judge Subramanian, this lying motherfucker Doug Wigdor was the first motherfucker to put up a letter saying, keep Puffy in jail, when he lied in the civil suit. An officer of the court filed a federal complaint and extorted Puffy in a settlement. Doug Wigdor said that Puffy sex trafficked Cassie. That wasn't true. Puffy was acquitted of that. Doug Wigdor said that there was the balcony incident. That never happened. Doug Wigdor said that Puffy forced Cassie to do that. That did. Doug Wigdor and his federal complaint, all of it was a lie. And they extorted $20 million out of Puffy. This was all proven at the trial. And this motherfucker would come to the trial. I seen him in the court. I seen him in the court. A lawyer who lies in a federal document in the Southern District of New York. And this is a reflection of the Southern District of New York. No perjury charges have been brought against Brianna Boglin. No perjury charges have been brought against Dawn Rashad. Brianna Boglin suing Puff for $10 million. Dawn Rashad suing Puff for $6.45 million. No perjury charges brought against them. And they stood up in your face, Judge Subramanian, in your courtroom, Judge Subramanian, and lied and disrespected you, and you ain't do nothing. You made excuses for Brianna. Doug Wigdor. I need everybody in the live chat. Do me a favor. Put in the live chat Doug Wigdor, attorney misconduct. Put it in the live chat. Wigdor, W-I-G-D-O-R. Doug Wigdor, attorney misconduct. Put it in the live chat. And tell Doug Wigdor to come down here and stand before me, and me and him will go through the civil suit. Lies, sex trafficking, lies, force, lies, forced labor, lies, coercion, lies. Put it in Doug Wigdor, attorney misconduct. Greer, I see you. Andrea Dream. Judge Subramanian, ain't nothing that Doug Wigdor can say or Cassie can say when it comes time to sentencing. Nothing. Fuck whatever they write, whatever letter they write, none of that shit they say, because he lied. He committed perjury. Cassie lied. And what goes around comes around. And all these male escorts are coming to sue Cassie now. Cassie played just as material a role in what Puffy got charged with, except she agreed to testify against Puff. Cassie had to rat. She had to be an informant. She had to cooperate against Puff in order to get immunity. And that's what she did. And she went to Doug Wigdor, Meredith Firetab, and Michael Willerman, and they signed their name to a document that is full of lies and full of perjury. And Judge Subramanian, you know it. Alexandra Shapiro stood up in the court, I think it was the next day, after Nicole Westmoreland got goddamn Breonna Bogelin to commit perjury on the stand. The whole courtroom saw it. The whole world saw it.
I told them because I don't have it.
The next day, Alexandra Shapiro came in the courtroom, Judge Subramanian, and she looked at you in your face. Alexandra Shapiro looked at you in your face. She wrote a letter. She said, I declare mistrial for the perjury. Yes, she did. You remember that? You remember that? Yeah, I know you do. Because you was there and I was there too. We both was there. And you didn't grant Alexandra Shapiro the mistrial she requested. You said, oh, well, Breonna Bogelin was on a lot of drugs. This was 9 years ago. Maybe she forgot some of the details. That's bullshit. The reason you couldn't declare a mistrial in the criminal case was because Doug Wigdor and Cassie lied in the civil case. And if you declared a mistrial based on that perjury, then goddamn Doug Wigdor will be brought before the New York Bar Association and the goddamn feds and questioned about lying in a federal document submitted in federal court. That's why you ain't do it. 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 And what you did, Judge Subramanian, to yourself, to your own perception and the way the world perceives you, the way I perceive you, the way everybody perceives you who was in that courtroom, is that you weak, that you didn't even have the self-respect of a judge to admonish the witness for lying on the stand in your courtroom. But I get it. You only 2 years on the bench. You trying to win acceptance from a people that ain't gonna never accept you, that don't care nothing about you. And in the process, making your own self look bad. So Judge Subramanian, nothing Cassie can say, nothing Doug Wigdor can submit against sentencing, against Puffy for an enhancement toward his sentence. None of that shit can count because they lied. Kid Cudi's car. Doug Wigdor put in Cassie's civil suit where she extorted $20 million from Puff, robbed him. Doug Wigdor got a piece of that 20 mil with his lies. That Puffy, he insinuated that Puffy blew up Kid Cudi's car. That was a lie. Because it came out, Judge Subramanian, and you was there, that there was no fingerprints of Puff there, no eyewitnesses, no photos, no video footage from the security camera, no DNA, no fingerprints putting Puffy at Kid Cudi's house. That's all a lie. But that's in Doug Wigdor put that in Cassie's civil suit. And the civil suit was the undergirding. It was the underpinning, the foundation for the criminal case. For the criminal case. Doug Wigdor needs to be called before the New York Bar Association and the New York Supreme Court and questioned about a peer review with other attorneys, and they need to examine the civil suit that he filed, that he put his name to, versus the transcripts of the criminal case and what came out. Doug Wigdor said that Cassie was sex trafficked. Puffy was found innocent of that. He was acquitted. Big lies was told. Big lies was told. So when it come down to sentencing, man, ain't nothing Doug Wigdor can say. Tell that nigga to shut up. Tell Doug Wigdor to shut up. Because you lied and you stole. You committed perjury in a federal document and you stole. You extorted a man. And I hope when Puff get out, he come for you. I hope he do. Cassie, you ain't gonna have no good luck. Because what you put out into the universe comes back to you. What you put out into the universe come back to you. Charles Smith, why ain't that boy in school? That's none of your motherfucking business. You don't go back to school in September, nigga. This is up north. Mind your fucking business. Don't worry about my son. Worry about yours, fake profile boy. Judge Subramanian. Ain't nothing Doug Wigdor can say, no document they can submit, nothing Cassie can say, nothing Cassie can submit when it comes down to Puffy's sentence. Because they're liars. They're perjurers. It came out in the court. It came out in the testimony that the morning that Brianna Bogelin got on the stand to tell this story about the 17th floor balcony, her and Cassie were texting that morning when she was on her way to court, getting the lie straight. Deontay Nash, hey Deontay, hey girl, hey Deontay Nash, hey baby, hey girl. Deontay Nash and Cassie were texting. Deontay Nash and Brianna were texting. Cassie and Brianna were texting. to make sure they got their stories right. Before Breonna got on the stand, Nicole Westmoreland brought all that out. $50 days till Puffy gets sentenced. 50 days. Puffy won. Puffy beat the Southern District. The Southern District of New York, their reputation has taken a hit. Look at all of the nonsense that Puffy exposed about the Southern District of New York. Look at all the prosecutorial misconduct just in Puffy's case. And if Puffy don't have the money, none of this stuff ever gets uncovered, never gets exposed. Imagine all the brothers, all the niggas that have gotten prosecuted in the Southern District of New York as a result of prosecutorial misconduct that didn't have the money, that only could use a public defender. Imagine. Perjury was all over Puffy's case. All over it. Perjury and attorney misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct, any shady shit the government can do, the Southern District of New York did it against Puff, and he still beat him. He still beat him. And y'all got him in jail. Judge Subramanian, you got Puffy in jail right now at MDC Brooklyn for prostitution, and he didn't even engage in none of the sexual acts. He wasn't even a John, he was a spectator. Filming. But you got him sitting in MDC Brooklyn for over a year. Come October 3rd, it'll be over a year. And Puffy's legal team gave you other cases, precedents, where people had similar charges to Puff. Even more serious charges than Puff were granted bail. Were allowed to be remain free on bail, pending sentencing. But Puff is over there sitting in MDC Brooklyn. But that's all right. Puff doing 500 push-ups a day. 500 push-ups a day. 500 jumping jacks a day. He gonna come out, he gonna be cut up. He make comebacks, man. We make comebacks. Make comebacks. We make comebacks. Everybody lied on Puff, man. Everybody lied on Puff. And tell the Breakfast Club, send this to the Breakfast Club. Send this to the Breakfast Club. Puffy going to Madison Square Garden. And the day he announced the tickets, he gonna sell out Madison Square Garden in about 3 hours. He gonna sell out the whole Madison Square Garden in 3 hours. And the Breakfast Club, y'all couldn't sell out the barbershop. Y'all couldn't sell out a barbershop. The one dude, the one DJ, he in a federal indictment in Newark. The other guy, I don't even know what's up with him. And the black girl that be on there, I used to see her down there. she wasn't really running down on Puff like they was, like the two dudes on there. And they used to work for Puff. Both of them niggas used to work for Puff. The Breakfast Club couldn't sell out a barbershop. Y'all couldn't sell out the barbershop. Puff. You gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta go in that door right there. Yeah. Put your keys in your pocket so you don't lose them. Just go in there and tell them you gotta use the bathroom. I'm gonna be right here. Puffy gonna sell out Madison Square Garden, and I'm going. I'm gonna be there. Guaranteed I'm gonna be there. But Judge Subramanian, you can't, nothing Doug Wigdor can say. Nothing Cassie can say. What's up, man?
You be doing the calisthenics, right?
Yeah.
I be seeing you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Nothing Cassie can say, Doug Wigdor, because they lied. They done told a bunch of lies. Both of them. The Breakfast Clubs are rock jumpers, man. They rock jumpers. The one dude is in a federal indictment in Newark, New Jersey, as we speak, in open case. And will be called as a witness. And we're gonna see if you're gonna rat out or you're gonna stand tall. We're gonna see. With Flippin' NJ. You was down with Flippin' NJ. You was down with Caesar. You was down with him. Yes, you was. You were a co-conspirator. Hit that like button, y'all. Puffy gonna sell out Madison Square Garden in 2 hours. Soon as he announced the tickets, they're gonna be flying in from Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, LA, all over the country. Gonna sell it out. He probably had to do 2-3 shows. I'm gonna be at all of them. I'm gonna be at all of them. I'm gonna be at every show. I'm gonna be at every show of Hollywood team. Man, you don't think Puff, the world wanna see Puff. The world wanna see Puff. Doug Wigdor, Puffy better than you. Doug Wigdor, what you make in a year, Doug Wigdor, Puffy pay his assistants that. Puffy pay his assistants what you make in a year. Doug Wigdor, you small potatoes to Puffy. Small potatoes. He more famous than you, got more money than you, got more women than you, got a jet, got 2 mansions, 7 beautiful kids, 5 businesses. Huh? 8, 9 girlfriends. You understand? You ain't got that. He beat the feds at trial. He told the truth. You lied. You're not even on Puffy's level, Doug Wigdor. That little $20 million he gave y'all, he was like, all right, man, go ahead. You beneath Puffy, Doug Wigdor. Wigdor Law. You beneath Puffy. You beneath him. Remember that.